Did Bev have a hot mic moment? I guess Nick Garino ain't the only one. Hello, 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 and welcome to this special Saturday broadcast from Alexa's room, where we are not lawyers, we are not medical professionals, we are not law enforcement, we are just people. People who have opinions about all things going on in the true crime community, including did Bev have a hot mic moment? Well, apparently, this is what's being reported from Microdots and a couple of other people too after yesterday's hearing where the defense was presenting their oral argument for the motion to dismiss counts 1 and 3. And if in fact what is being said on this hot mic moment, now people are saying it's Bev, I don't know, but if it is Bev who is making this comment, my God, I mean, where do we go from here? Because essentially, what the crux of Alan Jackson's original argument was the verdict slip form, right? That's been the talk of the last month and a half or so about whether or not that could be confusing to the jurors and how they wanted to include the not guilty, guilty boxes next to the lesser included charges because it might be confusing to some of the jurors. And as we have found out through some of the affidavits that have come forward, some of the jurors did, in fact, admit it was confusing. So, if this, in fact, is true, and this came from Bev or somebody else who was responsible for amending the verdict slip form, where do we go from here? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did not hear this the first few times I listened to that hearing. Now, I listened to that. I even streamed it here on Alexa's room, which you can check out. I'll link it in the description box below. I didn't hear it the first 3 times that I've listened to this hearing, not only just streaming it live on my channel, but also checking some of the other channels who covered this hearing as well too. But you let me know if you heard this the first time around. We're going to jump back to the hearing as well too, see if we can hear this. But this is with some enhanced audio that was done. Thank you, Microdots, for enhancing this. And what say you? Do you hear it? Do you think this could be Bev? I want to know what you think in the description box below, but here we are.
There is no verdict in this case. Now, as far as whatever those communications that the jurors are referencing, what Commonwealth was in Congress, the judge did not.
So I'm going to play that back again. I know, again, it's a little hard to hear, but listen closely, read the captions. Let me know what you think.
There is no verdict in this case. Now, as far as whatever those communications that the jurors are referencing, what Commonwealth was in Congress, the judge did not.
So Lally, this is Lally's argument where he is specifically talking about the verdict slip form and how he's like, it should be obvious there was a guilty box and there was a not guilty box. And if they thought she was not guilty, they should just check that box. No. And if this is Bev who is saying it, she is admitting, we never changed it. We never changed the verdict slip form. Then there's some inaudible, which I could not hear at all for the life of me, some male counterpart who is speaking on behalf of that. But again, guys, we don't know if this was Bev 100% for sure. This is just what's being reported for now. But now I want to, just to compare, see if we could hear it in the actual, or one of the streams of this actual hearing. So give me 1 second to pull that up and we will compare. All right, I got it. I hate when people don't put like timestamps on any of this stuff. So this is the original clip. Okay, so I gave him a little bit of a running start here just so we can kind of get into how this is relevant to specifically the verdict slip forms he's addressing. Again, if they wanted to give her a verdict, they would have checked not guilty or guilty. There was no verdict in this case. That is what he is saying here. But I want you to listen more to the background and see if you can pick up on that hot mic moment, because I didn't, again, listening to this the first like 30,000 times of covering this. But maybe you guys do. Maybe you have supersonic hearing. And I would love to know, because if you can hear it, who does it most likely sound like? I mean, I could hear it in listening to it over and over again. I definitely heard that thick Boston accent, but then again, that doesn't mean anything. That could be any number one of the people reporting on this. So it could have very well have been a camera person or another person, another member of the court. So I'm gonna play this a couple of times, but let's see what we can hear from this.
Guilty and Boston not guilty. Neither was charged, neither was checked, neither was returned to the court at any point in time. There is no verdict in this case. Now, as far as whatever those
Wow. Wow. I mean, it's clear as day, but it's so easy to overlook that. That's so easy to overlook. My God. But from what it sounds like, somebody's saying he's saying, and again, this could be a layperson in the court who's maybe just making a comment, but it's clearly somebody who, because we heard it from a completely different clip, from a completely different stream on a completely different news channel. So it can't be the I mean, this is my speculation. How could it possibly be a camera person, unless, I guess, because they're all using the same kind of pool mics? But I mean, still, how could it be the camera person from the ABC5 news station when we're now tuning into Law and Crime? Wow. So is it Beth? And if so, why, like, wouldn't she know better than to make a comment like that? Unless she, and like, who would she be making the comment to, unless it's somebody else, like I said, somebody else who was maybe responsible for it? Because I don't think it's up to her. Like, it's up to her to say yay or nay to whether or not the verdict slip form is going to ultimately get amended, but she's not the one doing the actual amendments to it. I'm fairly certain it's a court officer or a member of the court. I don't even know if it would be Madam Court Reporter, but somebody would get assigned to do that. Hey, can you, so and so, can you go and just update this copy of this? We're going to include this, that. So I don't know if it's fair to put the blame on Bev right away, but then who again would have another mic readily available? Even Lally, I don't think, has a mic on the podium. So, like, who could this be other than potentially Bev? So let's listen in again one last time. Give him a little bit of a running start.
and Boston not guilty. Neither was charged, neither was checked, neither was returned to the court at any point in time. There is no verdict in this case. Now, as far as whatever those communications that the jurors are referenced, what
He's saying a box was never checked. We never corrected it. And I wish, like, did anybody see anybody who was in the courtroom notice? I guess nobody was paying attention. I have no idea. But who would she have been possibly speaking to about it? Because she's clearly speaking to this female person. Again, I'm not going to 100% say it's Bev because we don't know, but she's the only other person, as far as I know, who has a mic. Other than maybe the folks that are sitting in front of her, Madam Court Reporter and the other court officer. I don't know exactly what his role is, if any of you guys know, but that male Jim that she was speaking to at one of the last hearings. So, I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. Because if, in fact, that verdict slip form was not amended, even after she had agreed, now I'm not saying it was her fault, but I mean, if you did know that it wasn't amended, why didn't you share that? And who was in charge of making those amendments? I mean, this is absolutely wild. And now that I'm listening back to it, I mean, it has to be somebody who had some sort of mic, could have been a member of the camera crew, because we're looking at different streams. I mean, we can look at court TVs as well too, and I'll do some extra digging after this video, but I mean, this is crazy. So That being said, thank you guys so much for watching this special Saturday video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss that update from me. And make sure you hit that like button, because that shows the YouTube algorithm that this is in fact newsworthy news that needs to be shared, because the more people that hear about Karen Read's story, the more pressure we can put on these agencies to do the right thing. And yes, grant the defense the opportunity to poll the jury, to ask them those few simple questions of, can you confirm this as true or not true? And then hopefully the Commonwealth will come to their senses. I'm not really betting on it, but come to their senses and ultimately drop those 2 charges. And just, if we do have this retrial, go in with just the manslaughter. So that being said, I will see you in the next video.